Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. It's a show about your life and your money. Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about life and money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. CJ is starting off this hour in Chicago. Hi, CJ. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Sure. What's up?
So I'm 38 years old. My wife's 34. We have our take-home income is about $120,000 a year. And we've been working on paying off $57,000 in debt for the last 6 months or so. And my wife, she's 6 months pregnant. So I've just been kind of saving money since we found out. And come to find out, she racked up $50,000 in credit card debt that I wasn't aware of. And I'm terrified, and I don't know what to do.
In the last 6 months?
No, this has actually been going on for longer than that. I think it got worse since she became pregnant, buying baby stuff, and I don't know what all was going through her head. But yeah, I'm scared.
Okay, let me make sure I get the entire picture, okay? She knew, and you two were having conversations, that you're trying to pay off $57,000 in debt.
Yes.
And you're watching to do that. Meantime, she's buying things, and so she was lying to you.
Yeah, by not telling me, she was lying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, purposefully hiding it. That's like deception.
Correct.
Yeah. Terrified's probably not the right word to describe your emotions.
Yeah, that's accurate.
When you confronted her, what happened?
She immediately came clean and started crying, and she feels bad about it. She knows she was in the wrong. I told her that, I can forgive her if she takes right steps to clean this up with me. And with her being about to have a baby in a few months, I told her, I will work as much overtime as I can. Luckily, it's available to me.
Did she tell you about it, or you found out about it and confronted her? Because that's a key thing here.
Yeah, confronted her.
How'd you find it?
I had someone call me wanting us to refinance our mortgage, and they were going through our credit report. And when he told me how much debt we had, I told him he was wrong because it was $50,000 more than what I thought we had. And then he went through and told me what it was, and that's when I confronted her, and she came clean.
Yeah. All right. So let me back out. Let me pan out just a minute here, okay? And then we'll get to what to do tactically with the money stuff in a little while.
Okay.
Having done what I do for 30-plus years, what we've discovered is that this is first and foremost a breach of trust.
Right.
The money is secondary. The primary thing, and that's why people in my world call this financial infidelity, because it's a deep breach of trust. Sexual infidelity is a deep breach of trust. And truthfully, for most people, this activates the same part in your brain or in your soul that sexual infidelity activates, because it's not sex as much as it is a deep breach of trust, right?
Right.
And so I'm telling you all that, and I'm making a big deal about it, not to get her in trouble, but I'm going to strongly suggest you guys see a marriage counselor.
Right. I think it's probably going to have to happen.
Because your wife systematically lied to you for an extended period of time, and she needs to get that really deep inside of her. She's been a liar, a deceiver for an extended period of time, and what that does to your relationship and what that does to your trust of her. This is not, I bought something at Target and forgot to tell you.
Right.
This is a way different thing.
Hey, can I ask you a question? $50,000 is a lot of money, which means there's a lot of items. Was she? Can I just ask? Was she bringing home things, and you're like, "Hey, where did you get this?" And she's lying. Oh, it was a gift. Did you notice things coming into the house? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
How are you so unplugged that $50,000 worth of stuff shows up and you don't realize it?
Yeah.
Well, it's 100%. I mean, I take full responsibility for not noticing sooner. Yeah, she was buying, baby stuff, but no like big ticket items that really set off any alarms. But I think she was using it. It just became a crutch for her. She was using it for everyday items, groceries.
She's wanting it for anything she wanted that was not in the budget the two of you had agreed to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whew.
So, yeah, you guys got some relational work to do, first and foremost, okay? And the way Henry Cloud's got a new book coming out on trust. If it's out already, you need to go get it, and both of you read it, because you are on track. The way you repair trust is, first, there is an admission of how big a deal the trust being broken is, by her and by you. To be honest with you, the language you're using is a little bit soft-pedaling it. You're not owning all of your emotions, in other words. I'm scared is not like I'm really so pissed off I can't breathe. That's different than I'm scared.
Yeah, I don't think it's fully hit me yet. Yeah. Like I said, I just found out 3 days ago. Okay. So.
Well, I'm glad you're being nice about it and behaving. I don't want you to do something crazy. I don't mean that. But and I don't think this is the end of your marriage. It shouldn't be. But she has to own the fact that she has lied to her husband for an extended period of time. That's a big deal. And then once she does that, then you say, okay, we're going to put in place some systems and some communication processes with the guidance of our marriage counselor to rebuild the trust.
Okay.
And that is going to be that we talk a lot about this. We talk a lot about our budget. We talk a lot about where every dollar is going. We talk about and you're going to start pulling the credit bureau report once a month. And, we're going to work through this and pay it off together. I don't mind paying off the $50,000, but you've got to have assurance deep in your soul that this is not going to happen, or something like this isn't going to happen again.
Yeah, I'm wondering if something set that off, or was this a behavior that, that she's always just been prone to overspending, or is this something that's like, I'm freaking out because I'm having a baby?
You know what? There's not really an excuse.
There's not.
This is lying. I mean, it's just, lots of people have babies and don't lie. Happens all the time. Lots of people have husbands that are too tight on the budget.
That's right.
Or wives that are too tight on the budget, and they still don't have to lie.
That's true.
They just stand up to the control freak and go,
That's true.
We need a little more stuff for the baby.
Yeah.
Put it in the budget, Bubba. Instead, sneaking off and running up $50,000 is not okay. So you guys got to work through the relational part of this, and the money stuff you'll clean up pretty quick. This is The Ramsey Show. Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. Hey, before we jump back to the calls, let's go back to that subject where a spouse has lied to their spouse over an extended period of time about a large amount of money.
Yeah.
Okay. There's lots of possibilities of things that go on there. And so if you're out there listening and you're struggling with that, let me tell you, the longer it goes on, the bigger the blow up when it comes out. So if you happen to tune in today, you need to go in. Trust will be rebuilt faster if you admit it rather than being discovered.
Yes.
Number one. So that starts the process. And then you need to figure out what it was that caused you to want to hide. Now, what can happen is, and I've seen this a lot, is it can be, this wasn't the case with that guy or his wife, but what can happen is one spouse is doing the bills, the other spouse is just rocking along.
Yeah.
Has no idea what's going on. And the spouse doing the bills can't figure it out. It's out of control. And in order to keep up the lifestyle that the other spouse that knows nothing is going on, they, as a shame-based thing, prop up the lifestyle with debt.
Yep. And
unbeknownst to the other spouse. So they're propping up the family lifestyle. Another thing that can happen is that causes this kind of deception. Most of the time, these people are not just liars.
Yes,
you're
right.
They result in becoming liars, but they're not like, I get the opportunity to, with malice, screw up my life by lying. That's not usually what's going on in their head. So it can be shame-based in that regard. Another thing that can happen is that you have a spouse that is a control freak that's too tight on the budget, and their way of rebelling is to say, well, screw you.
Right.
I'm just going to go over and get some stuff. Like, you don't give us enough for food, so I'm going to buy some food.
Yeah, I'm taking matters into my own hands. I can ring this up on a credit card, and that way they're trying to pull back some control into their own hands.
Yeah, because the relationship isn't healthy.
Right.
Meaning there's no give and take. Both votes don't count at the budget committee meeting. So when you're having a budget committee meeting, both votes count. Both of you get a say. And, and in case of a tie, you got to figure it out.
That's right.
And so you're not, yes, I want to get out of debt really fast. Yes, we're going to sell intense, but no, $100 a month for a family of 6 is not enough for food. Hello.
Okay.
I mean, really.
Well, then there's the scary side of it, Dave, where if there's a spouse that's pulled out their own credit card and they're spending, there could be something even more ominous at play, whether it's an affair or some sort of addiction problem.
Exactly. That's the third one, is they're hiding some other misbehavior with the financial. So it's not unusual at all. I mean, because the thing we used to laugh about, it's not funny, but, a guy's having an affair and he's covering all of that with the credit card over here hidden on the side, because you can't really put side honey in the budget.
Right. Right.
You
can't have a line item for side chick.
It's not a line item in the budget we're going to agree to, right?
Right.
So that's what you got to figure out. So that ain't, that doesn't play either. But so deception is deception, and it can be that there's something else going on.
Well, the question is, okay, so we know, Dave, in the case of gambling, in the case of addiction, even some of those other things, those would be the times where you can put limitations on how you're combining your money.
Exactly.
Now, at what point, because the call we took earlier, there was $50,000 being spent. That's a lot of money. At what point would you say, okay, maybe it's not addiction, maybe it's not something like that, but my spouse is just gone off the rails? At what point would you say, okay, there might be a separation of finance that has to go into it?
There's a separation of finance until trust can be rebuilt. If trust can never be rebuilt, that means the marriage is gone.
Yeah, agree.
So,
I agree with you.
I mean, if you're dealing with someone who's recovering from an addiction, it wouldn't be unusual at all for them to have zero access to the money for a period of time, and full communication and openness.
Yeah.
Because that's part of recovering from the addiction, is cutting off the supply of money to do the addiction. And to continue to destroy the family in the process. So, and violation of that money thing is also an indication you're back in the stuff. You're back in the addiction. Okay, you're falling off the wagon. So folks that we don't do addiction counseling here, but folks that do it, we work with a lot, and they tell us all the time, there's always a money tie.
Yeah.
There's always a money tie. You cannot be an addict. 100% of addicts eventually have financial trouble.
Well, yeah, because something is funding this addiction.
Yeah, something's out of control, and it's always going to show up in the checkbook. And so that's what's going on. So there can be that. There can be it could just be simple shame.
Yeah.
But whatever it is on your end, if you're the one that's doing the deceiving, 100% of this stuff is discovered eventually. Eventually. It's going to come out.
That's why it's so much better to just put it out there. Look, it's so much, if you're on the negative side of this, the receiving end of it, I would feel so much better if someone came to me and said, here, look, I made a mistake. Here's what I did. As opposed to me randomly finding out about it and having to come to you and go, here's what I found out, right? There's a teensy bit more grace when that person comes to you.
Yeah, well, and it's easier to begin to trust again because that's a first indication of owning it.
Well, yeah, there's got to be some remorse there in order for them to have done that.
Right,
yeah,
right, exactly. Justin is with us. Justin's in Columbia, Tennessee. Hi, Justin. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Jade. How are you doing today?
Great. How can we help?
So I'm calling because honestly a little scared, trying not to get stupid after scared. My wife and I wrapped up baby step 2 right before we moved a couple months ago. Our second car was in an accident. We bought a hoopty with the insurance money. That car just failed on us, and our one working vehicle is needing some repairs, and we're struggling with needing a second car and everything. And I'm feeling like I'm being moved towards a personal loan, and I don't want to go that route.
Good. Okay. So what's your household income?
So we're about $45,000.
Okay. All right. And you have how much money in savings?
About $300. We depleted most of the emergency fund right after we moved with a couple of things that needed to be done on our primary vehicle.
Okay. All right. So the primary vehicle needs more repairs?
Mostly small things right now that, we don't want to let those go and have them become big things.
Absolutely. I want to let them go. You're broke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That adds to the drama. When you escalate those little things to make them big things, you're adding to your drama. Okay. And so you drive one vehicle for a little while, and you work 3 jobs, and you pile up some money, and you go buy you another hoopty for $4,000.
All right. Yeah, just we're both working, so thankfully it's at the same place, and they're working with us on the scheduling and getting back and forth in one vehicle.
Yeah. I mean, this is a time you're going to look back that you say, that time in our life sucked.
Okay.
But you're going to make it suck more if you go back in debt.
Now, Justin, you're both working 2 jobs, and the outcome is $45,000? You're both working?
We're both working at a Chick-fil-A currently because they were willing to work with both of us for scheduling. I was self-employed pre-COVID, trying to work on building that back up. I was a subcontractor for on-site IT. I was traveling out a couple hundred miles a day sometimes.
You know how to do IT work, and you're working at Chick-fil-A?
I'm working on catching up on some of my certifications so I can actually get into more competitive positions.
In the meantime, you know how to do stuff 90% of the public doesn't know how to do.
Yes, and
it pays more than Chick-fil-A pays.
Without the certifications, as a subcontractor, most of the companies are paying equivalent and making me wait a lot longer for the money.
The equivalent to Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want you doing a whole bunch of that side work also. And I want you to get your butt in gear and get your income up, because I think Jade put her finger right on it. You guys aren't making any money. I'm not mad at Chick-fil-A. They're wonderful.
They're
but that's
great.
not supposed to be your career job. That's Jesus.
Not when you know IT?
Yeah, unless you own the place, it's Jesus chicken part-time job, dude. I mean, if you're not one of the owners, yeah, that's the deal.
Uh-huh.
And it's
That's
a wonderful place to have a little part-time job if you're a teenager.
Right.
But not feeding a family with a broken car. No, IT. Get it.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer. And good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Today's question is brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. Here at Ramsey, we believe in making home ownership a blessing and not a burden. So we recommend Neighborly's network of service professionals to repair, maintain, improve your home. This is a great company. Find the help you need at neighborly.com today.
All right. Today's question comes from Thomas in Nevada. He says, I hear you talk about pay for your kids' college or higher education. Why is this a requirement? I'm not trying to pass off responsibility. I went through college and paid my way through. My parents were capable of helping me pay for college, but they went through college on their own and said they learned a lot from budgeting and needing to control their spending in order to pay for school. I plan on helping them start out with books and rent, but not planning to fund their higher education decisions. Is this a mental change that I need to make, or are there different amounts that I can help? This is an interesting question, and it comes up a lot. Baby step 5, if you're listening and you're not sure about the baby steps, baby step 5 is there to set aside money for kids' college, whether it's a 529, an ESA. It comes after investing 15%, and it comes before paying off your home. So it's important to know where that sits in this whole equation. And, Dave, we've never said, we give some percentages and some guidelines for some of the other steps. But for this one, we don't say, and, you put 10% for college, or you do $700 a month. We don't tell you exactly how much to put, because there is a little bit of a discussion that goes into this, right? And I think that's the first place I want to start. You need to be having a discussion with your kids regardless, whether you plan on having a full fund set up for them, whether you plan on matching them dollar for dollar, or whether you're like, hey, I don't plan on contributing anything, which I will say I have questions about that. But the key is you do need to have those conversations, and you need to have them early, because as their parent, it is up to you to help them understand what that process is. It is up to you to make sure that they're making a good plan, a plan that they can actually follow through with without debt. I don't think it's a good idea to just leave them out here flapping in the breeze and hope for the best. And kind of going back to my first thought, Dave, and this is just coming from Jade talking, I can't imagine not wanting to help them in some way with college. They're my kids. So I might not, depending on financial situations, I might not be able to afford for them to go to Harvard, right? Or afford for them to go to even the nicest state school in the area. But I want to help them financially in some way. And I do think that should be a goal. Even if you say, okay, yeah, we're going to match you dollar for dollar, I want you working, and then we're going to put this much in. I do think that there should be a little help there, simply because, I'm your parent. I want to help you out. But
paying for college is not a requirement.
It's not a requirement.
He said requirement, and it's not a requirement. It's not a moral thing.
No.
You're not an immoral parent if you don't pay for college. I've often told single moms making $25,000 that, we need to teach that kid how to get scholarships.
Yes.
And how to work and how to pick a cheap school, because they should just rise up. If that's you, if you're a single mom making $25,000, your kid, you're not a bad mom because you didn't pay for their college.
Absolutely.
They should just rise up and call you blessed simply for feeding their little butts, okay? So, really, I mean, in that situation, that's a big deal. Now, in his case, he's able to pay, and then you can start asking the question. So the way I want to ask the question is this, is not what is a requirement or what is a moral or ethical. It's more back to what you were saying is, okay, my job, my moral requirement as a parent is to give you the tools you need to succeed in this world.
That's right.
Brush your teeth so you have some. That's a good tool to have, okay?
Yeah.
Tell the truth. And, admitting you lied, little less punishment, but still lots of punishment because crooks don't succeed in this world. My job is to grow you into an adult that will help you win. Part of becoming successful as an adult is to engage in a lifetime of learning.
That's right.
Never stop learning. If the last time you read a book was you're a senior in high school and you've never done any other training of any kind since high school, you're probably not succeeding big time.
Oh, no.
Well, so-and-so, Dave Thomas started Wendy's, and he was just a high school graduate. Yes, but Dave Thomas didn't start and run Wendy's only on a high school education. He was self-taught, he read, he learned, he grew. He was a lifetime learner, even though he didn't have the degrees or letters or licenses after his name. But did he build something the size of Wendy's on the back of only a high school No, he did not. 100% no. Have I built Ramsey Solutions based on a 4-year degree and the level of knowledge I got then? Absolutely not. If I stopped learning in 1982 when I graduated, Ramsey wouldn't be here.
Right, absolutely.
So a lifetime of learning is your job. To instill in them, you're going to be a reader, because leaders are readers. You're going to be engaged in some kind of learning. Now, then can I encourage that with some level of help? Minimum, as you said, don't leave them flapping in the breeze. Show them how to do it.
Yes.
Minimum, show them how to do it. It is your job to show them how to do it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to pay for it, fine, but it's your job to show them how to do it. Don't expect a 17-year-old to figure this out.
Thank you, Dave.
They don't have the equipment, okay? Your job is to go, okay, here's where scholarships come from. Here's where work comes from. Teach them to work. Teach them to save. Teach them to budget. I'm for all of that. Like, I've got a friend that was a professional football player, made bazillion dollars, refused to pay. His dad was blue collar, refused to pay for his college. This guy refused to pay for a dime of his kid's college. But he showed him exactly how to go do it in detail. So he upheld that part of it. In my case, I showed him exactly how to do it, and I paid for it.
That's great.
Because I believe the power of knowledge, not of degrees. Degrees don't have any power. Knowledge is the currency.
Yeah.
And I believe in that, and we paid for our kids' college. The other reason we paid for it is that way we could control it. And help them navigate that process. Go to a school you can afford. Behave while you're at the school you can afford. And I'm holding a wallet over the top of your head making you do that. And so you're going to behave or we're going to cut this off.
And they've got to understand that debt is not an option. Because that's the thing. If you cut off the money spigot and say it's up to you, they've got to understand the implication of debt. Because my parents told me, all 4 of us early on, you better be smart or you better be good at sports because we're not paying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, smart, got it. Got the scholarship, athletic scholarship as well. But I still didn't understand the implication of debt.
Yep.
And so I still took out some.
So no debt, pick a degree that you can actually make some money with.
Yeah.
And go to a school that's the least expensive and work your butt off while you're in school. I worked 40 to 60 hours a week while I was in college, and I didn't die from it. Nobody paying for mine.
You probably became a better student because of it, Dave.
Yeah, not really.
Well, I think they say part-time is where you benefit.
All I did was work. And, but anyway, it wasn't healthy. But I think I had $3,200 in student loans or something when I came out. But
Yeah.
that was a whole nother
Different
world.
time.
Tuition. If I told you what the tuition was, y'all would all laugh. So, but anyway, how the heck I got $3,200 in debt
Kind
with
of
that
want to
low
know
of
what
tuition?
I
don't
kind of
even
want to know what it was
It's
now, Dave.
impossible. Impossible. But the point is, you do not have a moral imperative to pay for your kids' college. You do have a moral imperative to highlight the importance of knowledge and show them how to get it. Mm-hmm. And if you want to help them get it, that's okay too. But save up and pay for it. And getting it is not using debt to get it. So really good discussion, Jade.
Love it.
Really good. This is the Ramsey Show. Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jeannie's with us in New Jersey. Hi, Jeannie. How are you?
Hi, Dave and Jade. How are you?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
I just need a little bit of encouragement and some clarification on something I heard you say a couple of days ago or weeks ago. I can't remember. I am baby step 3. I am struggling with getting rid of that last credit card because I want to buy a house next year, and I do want to do the manual underwriting. But you mentioned something about your having a credit card is more, even if you're not using it, is more damaging than not having it. I want my score to be indeterminable, but can that happen if I have a credit card still open on it?
No, it cannot.
Just tell me to cut it up.
No, it
Cut
cannot.
it up.
You cannot.
Okay.
It cannot be indeterminable while you have open credit accounts.
Anything?
Even if there's zero balances, anything. Yes, everything
Okay.
has to be completely closed and zero balance.
Okay.
As long as it's open,
right.
it's still reporting, even if it's reporting a zero balance.
Okay. I'm already in touch with Churchill, so we're going through stuff, but I couldn't understand how you explained it before the other day, and I just wanted some...
Yeah, that's
so
the damage.
nervous.
The damage is that what you end up with when you have one credit card open and a zero balance and no other credit accounts of any kind, you're going to end up with a low credit score because you have almost no credit. That's what it amounts to. Even though it's not bad, it's just you don't have any. You'd be like a 20-year-old or something that just got their first card, and the only thing they have in their whole life, they're not going to have a high credit score with one credit card. You know? And that's back where you are, and that's what you're setting up. So, because the algorithm is based on how you interact. The algorithm that creates the credit score is based on how you interact with credit. It's not based on anything else. And so, if you
No,
have
I get
zero,
that.
if you have
My stomach
zero
hurts.
interaction with credit, then that's when you have an indeterminable, a zero credit score.
Jeannie, you said you're
Yeah.
nervous. Are you nervous because you're unsure of your credit score dropping to zero when you cut this up? Are you nervous because now you won't have this credit card in your life?
Yes.
Where's your nerves coming from specifically?
I think the nerves are coming from just having that cushion or thinking I have a cushion. And I don't want to think that, but I'm struggling with myself. It's just a battle.
It is a battle.
Really?
Look, I'm going to validate that because the credit card companies, that's what they tell us. They tell us, you can't exist without us. You need us to prop up your life. You can't spend without. They've been telling us this for decades.
Don't leave home without
Don't
it.
leave home without it.
I'm 53, so I just started this in January. I'm just like, that stuff has been drilled in me a long time.
And you're
so I'm
single.
just trying. Yes.
And so you feel
with
vulnerable.
boundary
You feel a
issues.
little bit vulnerable for that reason. Yeah, and that's very normal. But what that tells us is, and that I went through this, spiritually myself some 30 years ago. It tells me what I'm counting on. What am I? What is in a sense, not a true spiritual sense, but in a sense, what is my God? What is my provision?
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Okay, I'm going to do it, y'all.
It's so
You know.
good.
But I mean, that's what I had to cope with. I went, who's providing for me?
Yeah, I don't like the way you put that.
I know, but I that's what I had to have here in my head. And it wasn't like a golden calf worshiper. I'm not saying that. That's not what you're doing. But the thing is this, I figured out I really can't count on them to make my life good. I can count on me and my hard work and my diligence and discipline and wisdom, and I can count on God providing for me, my Heavenly Father who's crazy about me. I can count on those two things, but I 100% can't count on Wells Fargo.
Look.
Exactly.
That's a word.
That's it. And that's who is my provider? And that's what they've done.
Yeah.
They've gotten their tentacles around, their claws around that portion of our heart.
Yeah.
That says, don't leave home without it.
Don't leave home. And that's
it turns out Daniel Boone did.
and he was all right.
He did okay,
Yeah, we got to
actually
stop.
died bankrupt. But anyway,
Instead of relying on credit and credit scores, I just say, like, give yourself credit. Give yourself credit that you can handle your own money. Give yourself credit that you can budget and you're a big girl and a
Isn't
big boy.
it interesting how that word is interchangeable?
It is.
Credit as in I'm going to go in debt, or I'm going to give myself credit. Cred. Street cred. I'm going to give myself the belief in myself.
Whew, I'm putting that in the quick read.
And that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's why the credit cards have and the FICO score. Really, when we talk about this, don't worship at the altar of the great FICO.
Yeah.
Oh, great FICO, provider of all good things. We bring you offerings of interest so that you give us a bigger score that has nothing to do with nothing except how much we play kissy face with the bank. And, we really, this is our provider.
Yeah.
Oh, FICO, good old FICO. And I think of these bad B movies with like a pyramid with flames coming out of the top and the face made out of stone and there's smoke coming out the ears. And great FICO. Oh, great FICO, we worship you. Like we're Mayans or something.
Boy.
Oh my God, give me a break.
No, none of that.
Yeah. But I mean, not picking on her, but I mean, that's where I was too.
I get it. Yeah.
We were convinced the best way to become wealthy is to go in debt, stay in debt.
Yeah.
By the people who want you to go into debt and stay in debt.
Yeah.
They've convinced us of that. The borrower is truly slave to the lender. Good. Hey, another one down. She's going to cut it up, Jade.
She
did
is.
it.
She's going to do it.
She's going to do it. Kyle's in Spokane. Hey, Kyle, what's up?
Yes, sir. I'm happy to speak with you, Mr. Ramsey, and Mrs. Walshaw today. I have a quick question. My wife and I are on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. We recently sat down with a few of your SmartVestor pros, all of whom were excellent.
Good.
But we've narrowed it down to 2.
Good.
But there's one big difference between them. They'd both be great to work with, but I hope to get some guidance. One is strictly fee-based. They assess 1% of the account value annually, and that would decrease by a few tenths as the account increases in value. The second is commission-based, where it's 3.5% of all new money invested. In the long term, it seems like the fee-based approach would be way more expensive, but he argues that commission-based guys may use mutual funds with higher maintenance fees to kind of compensate themselves with.
Well, that would not be true of a SmartVestor. Someone that has integrity would not do that. So a SmartVestor that's wanting to charge you, I buy commission-based. But most people do managed funds, like you're talking about. The vast majority of our SmartVestor pros are managed funds, or the 1% plan. Okay. The vast majority of them are.
Okay.
But there's nothing inherently automatically bad about one or the other. And you're right. Technically, you will come out cheaper with the commission-based than the managed base. Technically. Okay, over the scope of your life, okay, mathematically. But neither one is a ripoff. Both are worth the money. And so, I'm pretty sure, for instance, Rachel and Winston have theirs on the 1% plan, and I do the old-fashioned commission plan. That's more of an old-fashioned style, okay? But it is cheaper. They're called A shares. You're buying A shares. And the most you'd get charged is 5 3/4 on the front end, and then nothing after that, nothing ever after that. And so what's it take? It takes 5 3/4 years to break even on that, right? And so after that, you're making money. So 10 years in, you make, but either one are fine. Neither one are going to keep you from getting rich. Having a good financial advisor is going to make you rich because they're going to keep you in the game. They're going to have the heart of a teacher. And I wouldn't turn around and spit for the difference. If I were you, I wouldn't pick it based on that. I would instead pick it based on which one of these two your wife likes best.
Okay.
That's good advice right there.
Which one did she like
Very
best?
good, sir.
Which one did she like best?
It's the fee-based.
Then go with that.
Okay.
She just
Thank
likes
you, sir.
that guy the best.
Well, he is handsome. I'll give him that much.
Oh, I didn't mean that. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. No, that's not a reason to pick him either. Otherwise, no one would ever listen to my advice.
I was about to say.
So, hey, you weren't about to say that.
No, I was about to say. I know Dave is not talking about.
Oh, my.
boy.
Oh, my, oh, my, oh, my, oh, my. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, and he will
Safely.
have no lack of gain. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jade. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Our phone number is 888-825-5225. Jessica is in Las Vegas to start this hour. Hi, Jessica. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I think I maybe need some advice on our next steps. Me and my husband are kind of torn. He's one way, I'm on the other way. We have been budgeting for a long time, well, like 5-6 years now, but we've always maintained debt just because, and I know it sounds bad, but we can afford it. But we're at a place where we don't want to stay in the city that we've been living in for the rest of our lives. And he wants to sell the house, use the equity, pay off everything that we have, kind of make a fresh start, rent for a while, and then use the leftover equity that we have to put as our saving fund and add to it until we're ready to probably build a new house and use almost everything cash.
Okay, so you're in Vegas, and you're going to leave Vegas.
Yeah. So our jobs are here in Vegas, but we're looking at probably going to Utah.
When?
The commute, there's not a set date.
Okay. So why not do it simultaneous with this whole thing if you're going to do that?
What was that?
I said, if you're going to sell the house, go to Utah now.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you do? Is there a
only
reason you wouldn't do that?
She has an option too.
Yeah.
I know she doesn't want to do that. I'm trying to figure out what they're doing.
Well, no, I would love to do that, but we have one kid, and we both our job we work 48 hours straight, and so his parents watch our child for us when we do go to work, and they live just down the street from us. And
so you're
his
not
dad
going to
doesn't
Utah?
retire not until his dad retires, and then they would probably pick up and come with us.
Oh.
When is that?
And so 4 to 5 years.
Okay. So this is absolute bullcrap. The Utah thing hasn't got anything to do with you selling your house now, because 4 to 5 years from now, no one knows what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And so
Right.
you're not going to rent. You're not going to sell now and rent for 5 years unless you're in a really desperate pickle. How much debt have y'all got, and why have you been struggling with it for 5.5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we we've just been paying kind of minimum payments every time just because.
How much debt?
How much debt do you have?
We have a HELOC, and then 2
How much?
cars, and so it's about $140.
$140 on the HELOC. And what else?
No, $70 on a HELOC.
Oh, I'm sorry.
$70 on the HELOC.
Okay.
Yeah, $70 on a HELOC, about $70 overall for our vehicles.
Okay, what do you owe on vehicle number 1?
About $40.
Okay, and what do you owe on vehicle number 2?
Around $30.
$30. You have no other debt other than 2 cars and a HELOC and a house.
We have 1 trailer. That's at $16,000, and then that's it.
So you
No
have a camping
credit cards.
trailer of $16,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've not been struggling with your budget. You've been riding.
No, not at
You've
all.
been riding high on cars and enjoying these cars,
Yeah.
and had no ability and no idea to pay them off. What's your household income?
We make about $200 a year.
What's the note on these cars? Car 1, what's it monthly? Just curious.
What's the what?
What's the monthly payment on your cars? Car 1 and car 2. I'm just curious.
One is I think 700 and the other 600.
There it is.
Okay, and what's your house worth?
Probably about $850,000.
And what do you owe on it?
$480.
Okay. All right. So,
And then our interest rate
do you want
is
me to?
really great.
You called and asked. I want to double check. Do you want me to tell you the truth?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. I would keep my house and quit being a couple of $200,000 a year spoiled freaking brats, and I would pay $10,000 a month on this debt and be done in 14 months. But you guys spend like you're in Congress. You buy anything you want to buy whenever you want to buy it. There is zero control at this house.
Okay.
And you guys have really got to button down. Are you 28?
Yes.
Yeah, almost like I've done this before. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was gonna. That you fit the pattern.
Yeah.
You fit the pattern. You've excelled in your career, and it made you financially lazy. Lazy. You make too much money to be this broke.
Yeah. That's called skinny fat.
Okay.
So was that too mean for you?
No.
Okay. All right. You can do
know
this,
it works.
Jessica. You guys are in a really good position. You have a good life. You have good cars. You have a good house. You have a good income, and yet you're broke.
Yeah.
And so you're in a really good position to get control of this money monster before it owns you. Because one flip of the switch on the career, one flip of the switch the real estate market, and this is going to turn and own you guys. I know it happened to me when I was exactly your age. Only I was dumber than you. I had more zeros on it than you got on it. So you guys really need to get on a written, detailed plan with no eating out, no vacations until we get all this freaking stuff paid off, and or we need to sell all of it,
Yeah.
not counting the house.
Yeah. What's the deal with that trailer?
Yeah, I think you can pay it off in 14 months, $10,000 a month. That's you make $200,000. You can do that. But this is going to mean you have no life except getting out of debt. But in a little over a year, you could be free. How does that sound?
It sounds really good.
Would you really go do it?
Yeah, I think we could. I think my husband's just I think he's more on the it'd be easier if we just sold and start fresh.
It
really.
would be, but you won't.
But it wouldn't change you.
It wouldn't change the person in your all's mirror. And this process of 14 months of sacrifice, y'all are never going to be the same. You're going to be a different level of maturity than you ever dreamed of when you come out the other side of this.
You got to be careful with these high incomes. I call it skinny fat because it's that same idea of I've got this high income and it's an illusion that I can do what I want. It's like when you're thin and you think you can eat McDonald's every day and it's not messing you up because you haven't put on a bunch of weight. But meanwhile, it's messing you up on the inside. Heart disease,
Metabolism.
high cholesterol, it's messing with your metabolism. Skinny fat. Just because it looks healthy and it looks great doesn't mean that it actually is. You got to do the right habits no matter what the situation with your income.
Yeah. You got a real opportunity here to turn everything around and keep your house. And I think you'll end up 10 years from now in a better shape financially if you do that than if you just sell the house and clean off the debt, because the debt will grow back because you didn't change. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
I've got some shocking news for you. You won't believe this. Bank of America accused of opening fake accounts and charging illegal fees. Federal regulators said Tuesday they found that Bank of America harmed customers by double-dipping on fees, withholding credit card rewards, and opening fake accounts, all of which are violations of various consumer financial protection laws. Yeah, because it's freaking fraud. And as a result, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau ordered Bank of America to pay more than $100 million to customers and $90 million in penalties. And the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency also ordered Bank of America to pay $60 million in fines. So let me get this straight. $100 million went to the customers and $150 million went to the government. Some of the charges are reminiscent of the Wells Fargo scandal last decade that involved opening millions of bank accounts without customer authorization. The CFPB said that Bank of America harmed hundreds of thousands of consumers over a period of several years and across multiple product lines and services. Among them, they found that the bank, which normally charged customers $35 for a transaction that was declined due to insufficient funds, allowed those fees to be repeatedly charged for the same transaction, resulting in customers being charged tens of millions of dollars in fees on resubmitted transactions. They also said the bank would make special offers of cash and points when signing up for a new credit card, but that it illegally withheld those promised bonuses to tens of thousands of customers. Never even got your credit card points. Wow. And from at least 2012, the agency said in order to reach now defunct sales-based incentive goals and boost their evaluations, bank employees illegally applied for and enrolled consumers in credit card accounts without consumers' knowledge and authorization, involved using or obtaining consumers' credit reports without their consent, and it resulted in customers being charged unjustified fees, making hits to their credit reports, and having to make efforts to correct the errors the bank made.
Someone needs to go to jail.
Hello.
Someone needs to go to jail for that.
Hello. So, yeah, when Wells Fargo did the same thing, they, it was crazy. It was like, I had to look it up because I couldn't believe that they laid off like 24,000 people.
Yeah, I remember that.
And because I couldn't even believe that, but they had like something like 300,000 people on the payroll. It's hard to get my head around how big these stinking cabals are. They're bigger than most countries. And they apparently think they make their own laws.
Yeah. Somebody, like an actual people are opening these accounts.
Absolutely.
And
Employees.
actual people are charging these fees.
Employees. Yeah. Yep. In order to make their own bonuses.
Yeah.
On sales incentive goals.
Right. I just want people to understand this is not like a digital error or it was a digital mistake.
There was no oops involved.
Yeah. These are people doing evil things.
They're called crooks. They're called banks.
And is no one going to jail for this? I don't understand. If you rob a bank, you go to jail, but if you rob the people, you don't.
But if you're a bank, you're allowed to rob.
Yeah.
Banks are allowed to rob the people, but people can't rob the banks. This is how it works.
What's going on?
It just seems unfair.
Oh, man. It is unfair.
Banks can rob the people, but the people can't rob the
banks.
banks. Explain this to a 5-year-old, please. Okay. Honey, it's called Bank of America. They're bigger than life. Yeah. Okay, so Bank of America, Wells Fargo, among others.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Why would you continue to do business with a company, aside from all this malarkey, this complete crookerage going on here? Why would you do business with Bank of America to start with?
I don't know.
Honestly, they treat you like crap. They don't even know you're there.
No.
You should be doing business with your local credit union or your small town bank, or at least at the most a regional local bank. Mm-hmm. All of Ramsey Solutions, all of Dave and Sharon Ramsey are at banks located in this area.
Yeah.
And we don't, and we actually have human beings that we can call if there is some kind of a problem. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, and so, why would you do business with bank? Because I'll tell you why some of you are there, because you opened your account there and you're too stinking lazy to move it.
That's what I'm saying. It's right around the corner. I can just
you don't want
drive
to have to
right
cut.
over
You got
there.
all this stuff on direct deposit. Mm-hmm. You got all this stuff on auto draft, and you don't want to shut it all down, and you don't want to go to the 18, maybe 50 or 100 people you got to contact, you don't want to go to all that trouble, and so you're still doing business with Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Why? That's the only possible reason I can come up with.
Yeah. At the very least, and I'm preaching to a person who used to be a member of the choir myself, don't overdraw. If we can get our overdrafts, that might have saved us.
Let me just tell you, it doesn't matter with these guys. Apparently, if you just do business with them, they'll pull your credit report and open an account in your name.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that's the that's the extra shady.
This is like shade beyond shade.
It's shade beyond shade. Ugh, I'm scared. Yeah. I can't believe that people can do this.
The people can't rob the banks, but the banks can rob the people. This is how it works, because no one's going to jail here.
No one's going to jail.
And the government got more money than the customers.
I'm so shook.
I think there's a lot of crooks involved here. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau got $90 million. The Office of the Comptroller got $60 million.
Wow.
1 plus 1 is $150 million, by the way, 90 and 60. Mm-hmm. And $100 million went back to the customers. So,
wow.
I get that you find them, and I guess you probably couldn't figure out all the money to give to which customers, because it's real complicated when you're dealing with a crook of this size. And a monster with this many heads, it's hard to cut them off because another head grows
exactly.
back.
It's.
I wonder what I wonder if $250 million, that's $250 million, did anything to their stock price with this announcement. I bet it didn't.
You don't think so?
Not much, because the profit that they got was much greater than the cost. They made a lot more than $250 million on all this crookerage.
That's true. Man, this is insidious.
They actually got an ROI on crookerage.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll
bet you. I'm not positive, but
that makes what you're saying makes
sense.
Times
$35, and they insufficient, and people don't pay any attention.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Most people don't even know probably that this was taking place, whether it's because they're not looking at their bank account statements or they're not looking at their credit report to see fraudulent accounts showing up or something. This is just, if you're going to do business with crooks, you've got to monitor something.
No, that's the problem with doing business with crooks. Just don't do business with Bank of America. Don't do business with Wells Fargo. Don't do business with these mega banks.
Golly.
Fifth Third. There's another one.
Third.
Oh, jeez, what a bunch of crooks.
It's the fifth time I've robbed you and the third time that you've paid for it. Oh, boy.
The banks can rob the people, but the people can't rob the banks. This is how it works.
That's the moral of the story.
That's what comes out of this. That's what I'm getting from it. So they opened fake accounts, tens of millions of dollars in fees on resubmitted transactions. That's just on the NSFs. They opened fake accounts. And, how as big a problem as we have with identity theft now you have to worry about your banker stealing your identity.
Yeah. And what bothers me here, it's kind of, we talked about this earlier in the show. They said, we voluntarily reduced overdraft fees and eliminated all non-sufficient funds fees in the first half of 2022. Like, that's like...
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you saying?
You didn't screw as many people. We screwed fewer people this year than in other years.
It's right.
And did a PR release on it, and everyone smiled.
Right. Oh, gosh. This is terrible.
Yeah.
This is terrible. So what's the lesson we've learned? What's the big takeaway, Dave?
Don't do business with mega banks. Period. Because you know how many times they overdrafted me? None. I don't do business with them.
That's
you know
so
how
good.
many accounts they opened in my name? None. They don't have my information. Because I don't do business with Bank of America. I don't do business with Wells Fargo. I don't walk up into the snake pit and then wonder why I got bit.
True that.
This is The Ramsey Show. If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 45% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info. Jade Washall, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. If you're ever out running around, like on summer vacation or something, or fall vacation or whatever it is, swing by and see us if you're in the Nashville area. We do this show live from 1 to 4 Central Time on the glass, and so you can come and watch the Ramsey Personalities of the day do the show that day, and Monday through Friday we do that. We also got a wonderful guest lobby, a place you can kind of go see the history of Ramsey stuff, a bookstore, free coffee and homemade cookies every morning, all for just to say thanks for being our guest. So we've usually got 50 to 100 folks hanging out, maybe 200 hanging out, eating our free cookies and watching the show every day. We appreciate you. Also in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions is the debt-free stage. And Janelle and Felipe are standing on it. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Good to have you, man. You're more than welcome. So tell me, how much debt have you guys paid off?
$74,880.
Cool.
Nice.
Where are you guys from?
We live in Cumming, Georgia, just north of Atlanta.
Yeah, okay. Well, welcome to Nashville. And how long did it take you to pay off $75,000?
It took us 16 months.
16, yeah.
Yeah, good for you. And your range of income during that time?
We started at $112,883, and in 2022 went to $134,275. In addition to that, we also sold a property.
Okay, cool. What'd you sell?
Cool.
Land in St. Thomas.
Okay. And where did that land come from?
Property I invested in.
Okay.
earlier.
All right, fun. So what did it sell for?
$75,000.
Oh, okay, enough to pay the debt, but
Well-
it had debt on it.
No, it did not have debt on it, but we didn't pay it off until towards the end of our journey.
Ah, got
We
you.
were trying to
You
do
didn't
it the
sell
hard way.
until you were almost there. Okay.
Right.
Oh,
so
I
it funded
love
our
that.
emergency
Cool.
fund and the very end of the payments of our
Very
of
good.
our
So what
journey.
do y'all do for a living?
I work for prescription benefit management for hospice, and
I work for a firm that manages wastewater plants and water plant.
Okay, great, cool. Well, good to have you guys.
Thank you.
Very good. 16 months, you rocked it. So what got you guys started on this?
well, our journey started in 2017 when we lost everything in Hurricane Irma. We lived in St. John, where my husband and the kids are from, and we came here debt-free. Our whole marriage had been debt-free prior to that, so we had to build from nothing over the years. And so after we kind of relocated and got a house and bought items, shopping sprees, lots of them, bad habits were made.
Oh, yeah.
And then we looked up and we were $75,000 in debt. So that's what got us there. And then through lots of praying and trying to fix it on our own for several years, I had been, looking for some sort of solution. And a friend of ours one day mentioned you. And I was like, you need to tell me more. So she did.
That's all it took. Really.
And that was it. Yeah. So we had a trip planned down to his brother's wedding, and we were like, okay, September 1st, when we get back from that trip to St. John, we are starting. We're cutting up all the cards. We're doing this thing.
Wow.
And we did.
We did.
Then,
We stuck to it.
Yeah, we had a rough start. 2 weeks into our journey, we lost his brother.
Oh, my.
And then 4 weeks later, we lost my dad.
Oh, my.
Goodness.
So we were from Florida to Virginia with $1,000 for the first time in
Yeah.
our savings and we could ever remember. And somehow we just kept our faith and we pulled through, and we
Yeah.
never ever used a credit card since September 1st.
Wow.
Again, we had 5 prior, and they
Cold-
were
cold
still
turkey.
active,
Yeah,
but we
cold
were
turkey.
we were determined, and so we did not use one.
So when your friends told you about Dave Ramsey, the Ramsey Show, what did you get plugged into? Was it FPU? Did you read the Total Money Makeover? Like, what was that catalyst?
Oh,
that
she
you-
said you need to talk to Felipe and see if he'll do this with you. You have to do it, with your spouse.
I was on board right away. I was sold.
Yeah, he said, whatever you want to do, honey. That's what he. That's
So
what he always
Financial
says.
Peace University.
So she said, read the book first.
Okay.
Total Money Makeover, and then do FPU, and that's
Wow.
what we did.
Okay, so you did both. Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. Congratulations, y'all.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Thank you.
So, Felipe, you were really standing there going, we're in debt. I don't like this. Oh, yeah, let's get out. I'm with you. Let's go.
Absolutely.
It was that easy.
It's a team.
Yeah.
It's always been. It's the only way it's going to work.
Amen.
There's something you guys said that stood out to me. You're like, we moved here, we had these bad habits, right? But then you said early on, we wanted to do it the hard way. Can you?
He had been talking about we can sell the lot for a long time, and I was like, no. I was like, it's going to be worth more later. We need to hold on to that. It's one of the last things we had left. And then, so we were like, we're going to buckle down and figure out how to do this. And he worked like 100 million hours basically to get us through the
Workaholic.
harder parts. He was working like 80 hours a week. And then I was like, after several months of that, I realized it wasn't worth missing him in our life every day, working that many hours in a week. And I work from home, so I was there, able to be with the kids, but then he was never there. So then I was like, okay. After like 12, 13 months, I was like, we need to sell the lot.
Okay,
You
so
need to
on the
get back
tail end
home.
of it, you boom, and that bust you on through baby step 3 then.
Yes, yeah. I put us through baby step 3, and now we're in 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, good for you.
And you'll never go back to debt.
Oh, no.
No.
That is a closed chapter.
You got
And-
2 teenagers watching you guys do all
Oh,
this
she's
stuff.
8.
Okay,
He's 15.
two kids.
She acts like a team.
Yeah.
two kids watching you do all this stuff. You realize that they watch their parents become heroes. It was pretty impressive, you two.
Yeah, we preach to them also.
Yeah, and we preach to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and very involved in that process too, and
Yeah.
learning how to budget and trying to teach them so that they never have to feel that weight of that backpack that we put down.
Yeah.
It's no way to live.
It's no way to live.
That's a story that they'll tell their grandkids.
I hope so.
The time that mom and dad changed their family tree, dad was
That's it.
working like 70 hours a week. We never saw him. Mom said, sell the lot. Yeah, they'll
Whatever it
tell
takes.
their kids that.
They sure
when they're
will.
little grandkids, back in the day. That's exactly how it goes. I mean, this is what happens when you change your family tree. It's not just about getting out of debt, because you guys are permanently reshaped as a family. It's a complete new look. I mean, you had 2 horrible losses. You got through that. You work through this whole thing. You work like crazy hours. Then you do this. It's very important. Very well done.
It's about wanting to change the pattern,
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. You did. You reset it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Couple of heroes. Very well done. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
You got to believe. You got to believe in yourself. You got to know that your actions today are where you are in a year from now. So where you are today is because of your actions a year ago. So you have to just stay with it. We talked about it every day. We listened to your podcast every day. We cried on debt-free screams.
Yes.
And
most importantly is partners. Do it together. Listen to each other. Do it together.
So what your friend said was a big deal. Got to do it together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to talk to Felipe first. Got to do it together.
That's what she said. Yeah, because I always handled all the finances, and just tried to buffer a lot, for us, because, through all of rebuilding, we also had to find jobs and relocate, and we didn't have anything.
She just sends me out to work. That's it. I bring home the bacon. That's it.
Yeah. Cool.
I think it's more than that, but it's
a lot more than that.
It is at least that, though. Yeah. Well done, you guys. Very well done. Okay, the kiddos' names and ages.
Adriana is 8 and Dante is 15.
All right, very cool. Congratulations. Hey, we've got the Live and Give box for you, the Baby Steps Millionaires book, which will come out and sign at the break, and that's where you're headed. That's your next stop for sure. Be Baby Steps Millionaires. Total Money Makeover book. You can give that away to some friend that's asking you about it. Financial Peace University, another membership to that. And since you've been through, you may want to do it again or you may want to give it away. It's the Live and Give. So you got to do whatever you want to do with it. Thank you for coming to Nashville from Cummings, Georgia to do your debt-free scream. We're very proud of you. Felipe and Janelle, Dante and Adriana from Cummings, Georgia. $75,000 paid off in 16 months. Making 112 to 134. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
We're debt-free.
Yeah! Well done, well done. Man. It is so interesting to me that some people just look in the mirror and say, I'm changing.
That's right.
They
did it.
Just like that, I'm changing. Just like that, I'm changed. I'm just going to decide right now, I'm changing.
And their kids will never be the same.
No, definitely. Completely changed everything. Powerful.
Yes.
This is The Ramsey Show. Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Amanda is in Baltimore. Hey, Amanda, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. What's up?
So, need some direction here. Back in October, I got rid of my beater vehicle because it was costing me too much money to maintain. And I ended up suckering myself into buying a new vehicle. 2 weeks after I bought that vehicle, I was hit and the driver drove off. It's just minor cosmetic damage. It's $1,700 for paint, so it's not great. I don't know where to begin because Kelly Blue Book, based on my VIN, doesn't have a Blue Book value for my vehicle since it's a 2023. And then obviously I'll be upside down and don't know what to do about that as well as moving forward to getting a.
Do you not have insurance to fix the car?
I do have insurance, but I did not want to place a claim through my insurance at the time.
Why?
Just because my insurance was already crazy expensive for the vehicle. So I'm, with my car payment's almost $500 plus $170 for insurance as it is, and I just I didn't want to go that route.
Plus $2,000 because you didn't turn it in.
What's that?
Plus $2,000 because you didn't turn it in.
Correct.
And
yes.
that's what insurance is for.
That's what expensive is. Okay,
Yeah,
so what kind of car is
yep.
this?
It's a Volkswagen Taos. It's one of their newer SUVs.
And what does Kelley Blue Book say it's worth retail?
It won't. So I put in the VIN for it, and it says Kelley Blue Book does not have a value for your vehicle. So I've looked at comps, like other vehicles in the area near Virginia, and they're going anywhere from 24 to 27. But obviously with the damage, take some off of that.
Yeah, and what do you owe on it?
They'll be eating some right around 28.
Okay. All right. You have any money?
No.
No savings at
I
all?
have like $1,000. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Just $1,000.
How bad is your credit?
Great, actually.
Who's your loan with?
Huntington Bank, I believe.
Yeah, just you got it at the car dealer.
I did, yeah.
9%.
It was right during the microchip shortage, and I was looking at used cars, and they were marked up, and I was like, well, might as well buy new. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now I have the guilt and regret with that, so.
Okay. I'm sorry. What do you make a year?
With everything combined, 84.
How much other debt have you got?
Just my house.
Okay. Why don't you pay $3,000 a month and be done in 10 months? Keep it.
Pay how much?
$3,000 a month. No life.
I can't afford that.
No life. Yeah, you can. If you quit eating out and going on vacations to stop your 401k.
I don't even have money going to that.
Yeah.
Then you need to get on a budget and find out exactly where your money is going.
How much is your tax refund?
I owed last year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, $3,000 a month will get you out in 10 months. That's $36,000 out of $84,000.
I only am clearing I'm clearing under 5 already a month.
Do you have kids?
So my take home. Sorry, that's not take home. There's taxes coming out of that.
I know 84 is your gross, yeah, but you don't have a $25,000 tax bill, so something's wrong. What else is coming out of your check?
My mortgage,
your mortgage comes out of that. Your mortgage comes out before you get home?
No.
Okay. So $5,000 is $60,000 a year. $84,000 from $60,000 is $24,000. You do not have a $24,000 tax bill. I do not know where your money's going. You do not get taxed $24,000 on an $84,000 income.
It's not. So part of that is child support. So that was me adding that in. And then so if you consider 68 minus taxes, that's where I'm at for just income straight from work.
You're paying child support.
No, I receive it.
She's receiving it.
Additionally. That's where I was coming up with that number, but from work alone, it's just.
Yeah. How much is your house payment?
$1,480.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's not out of control. If I were you, I would get on as tight a budget as possible, pick up some extra income, and just pay this car off.
Okay. You don't think it's worth trying to
Nope.
sell it and take a loan out on a cheaper vehicle?
Nope. Doesn't solve the problem. So, unless you just hate the car anyway, not hate the regret that it represents, but hate the actual vehicle.
Sure.
Then
yeah, it's kind of a piece of junk.
Oh, is it?
That's
okay.
not great either.
If you want to get rid of it, but you're going to have to go. Look, okay, here's the thing: if you go borrow $4,000 and you sell the car, and you write a check for $4,000, then you borrow another $4,000 or $5,000 and get you a used car, you're $10,000 in debt, give or take, instead of $28,000 in debt. And you're going to pay that off very, very fast, and then you're going to save up and buy a better car. That's another route you can go. But you got to cover the amount that you're upside down, which is somewhere around $4,000, and you got to go buy a $5,000-$6,000 car for cash. So we're going to have about $10,000 debt over the credit union.
Mm-hmm.
to pull this deal
And
off.
are there, for those types of loans, I mean, I've looked at a couple of I've looked into a few different loans, and some of them have different rates based on what they're using them for. Are there certain types of loans I should be looking at?
You should be
if I
looking
go
at a
that route?
small town bank or a credit union and just be looking at a loan because your credit is good and you make $84,000 a year. They should loan you $10,000 bucks. It's not that big a deal. The rate doesn't matter because I want you to pay this off by Christmas.
Right.
You want to be done with
Yeah.
this. So the rate
Yeah, no,
becomes
I'd
irrelevant.
love to put
if you-
money towards the house.
Yeah,
Right.
if you got to play all the way through and clear this mess up, and then save up and move up in car to a better vehicle. A $20,000 vehicle is not out of line for you if you pay cash for it and do better research and slow down and don't fall victim to the chip marketplace or the used car marketplace. All of that was bull crap in your ears. And you believed it enough to go buy some impulse thing. And so you've learned your lesson on that, never to do that again. But you are going to you're going to get back into approximately a $20,000 car when the story's over that you've paid cash for. But you need to step all the way down to $6,000 maximum budget for the car. That's your maximum budget. And then you're going to drive that for about a year while you save up the money to pay cash and move up. And that's what I would do in this situation. But if you love the car and you want to keep it and just roll up your sleeves, tighten up your budget, and lean in and clean the mess up.
She does not love that car. I
No,
think for her
no.
that is a reminder of a dumb moment in time.
Yeah, I've had stuff in my driveway that I was paying payments on
Yeah.
stupid, and paying payments on stupid is painful.
Yeah, it's
I've done it.
not fun.
It's just like every time you write the check, it just yells at you.
Yeah.
It says, stupid, stupid. I hate it, man. I rings in my ears. I've paid so much stupid tax in my life, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's dumb things I've done.
I heard Dr. John Deloney talk about, it's another book, and I'm not going to be able to remember what it's called, but it's about the idea that your things speak to you every time you walk by them. And so when you have that car in the driveway or those things, every time you walk by them, they're yelling something at you. And if you use debt to get them, hey,
They're not yelling nice words.
they're not yelling, it's explicatives.
It's nice words. Nice words. My car says nice words to me.
Yes, mine does too. It says, I'm paid off.
Yeah.
I was bought in cash.
Mine says, don't get another ticket.
Oh, that's funny.
Slow down.
That's funny. That's good.
Yeah, hey, he's right, though. Your stuff talks to you.
It does.
It
It talks to you.
reminds you of bad times or good times. And, it's one of the reasons we get attached to things.
Yeah.
Is that right there. So it's fun. You're going to get through it, Amanda. If that's the dumbest thing you ever did, you're a
You'll
smart
be all
person.
right. Yeah.
You're a smart person. This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phone is at 888-825-5225. Eunice starts off this hour in Philadelphia. Hi, Eunice. How are you?
Hi, Dave and Jay. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Okay, so I have a dilemma. My husband, he's only 50 years old, and he was deciding to retire. He's only 50 years old.
So he's only 50 years
so
old.
I don't.
Are you worried about him just not having anything to do, or are you worried about the money?
Both.
Okay. What does he do? What does he do?
He's in IT. He's a computer programmer.
Okay. Why does he want to retire at 50?
He thinks he's ready.
He thinks he's ready.
I think he wants to join the FIRE movement.
The what movement?
The FIRE movement. So that is financially independent, retire early, which a lot of people are into now for anybody who doesn't know. And it's this idea of having a certain amount set aside. I mean, it's a retirement plan, but it's all about retiring early.
Okay, so retiring early would presuppose that you hate your job. Okay, I'm 62. I was just talking to somebody a while ago. I do not plan to retire, ever. And I've got millions of dollars. You know why? Because I love doing this. I'm going to come on here so long that I don't make sense anymore.
Does he plan?
He wants to get to another field.
Okay, then he's not retiring. He's changing careers.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee on income.
There's no guarantee on income on anything.
Is he going into business for himself? Is that what it is?
He wants to manage our finances.
That's his career?
Well, that's what he wants to move into.
So how much money do you guys have? What's your net worth?
Our net worth is about, I just checked this, about 3.8.
I'm sorry?
800,000?
3.8.
Oh, 3.8.
No, $3.8 million. Okay.
Yeah.
It does not a full-time job to manage $3.8 million.
That's what I'm saying.
Not even close. It's not even a part-time job. Unless you're going to do something really, really stupid and
That's
start
what I'm about to say. He's going to start doing some day trading and some...
Yeah, we're going to play crypto. We're going to play a bunch of gambling stuff. No, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you do have the right to want this to not happen.
He doesn't gamble, but yeah, he wants to, I guess he's tired in the corporate world, and so he wants to try doing something else. And he thinks
you're saying about 7 different things. So I think what's the problem is there's no clarity. There's a lot of ambivalence, and ambivalence always causes anxiety. So he says retire, you hear quit and blow all our money. Then he says retire, and he means he wants to start a different career, an encore career, which, by the way, is perfectly fine. He might make more doing that than he makes now. He says he's sick of corporate America. Well, that's easy to get. So I completely agree with that. So he wants to start his own gig, doing whatever. I don't care. Sitting on my butt and calling $3.8 million my full-time job, wrong answer. Sitting on my butt, period, and living off of the income from $3.8 million, highly, highly unsatisfactory as a life. He will be depressed in 24 months. People who do not do things for other people and just sit on their butt and consume are not happy people. Hedonism has never had a good end to it.
Yeah, well, I guess I wasn't so clear. Retiring from his corporate job. But,
quitting his corporate job to do something else. Awesome. I'm in. Yes. You got $3.8 million. You got nothing to be afraid of. Quitting and move on to another job. Yes. But quitting his corporate job and doing nothing or managing $3.8 million a full-time job, those aren't true. Those aren't good plans. They're not good life plans.
No.
Much less financially.
Eunice, are you still working?
I am working, but I don't earn as much as him.
What does he earn?
Well, he earns 150 plus bonus.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I only earn half of that.
Okay. So I think you guys need to sit down and say, what I'm really concerned about is that you do something. Not for the money.
Well, that's what he's assuring me. He's assuring me that he's doing something. But for me, it's opportunity cost. It's definitely $150K or more loss.
You don't need money. You got plenty of money. Mm-hmm. You're not going to go hungry. $3.8 million at 10% is $380,000 a year without touching the principal. You don't need money.
Have you guys paid off all your debt?
Well, we do have about $300 debt on 2 properties, but that is being rented, so the rent is paying that off.
Yeah. So what you guys have not done is the two of you need to sit down with the television off and spend a Saturday planning and talking about what it is he is going to do next. Nothing is not on the list.
He had mentioned that he wants to teach part-time. He feels that that's more rewarding than what he's doing right now.
It sounds like he's not sure, because we've heard corporate, we've heard managed financing, we've heard teach.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he's saying, that he's going to keep himself busy by teaching, at the same time managing our finances, but he wants to leave his corporate job.
Okay. I think I'm going to give him advice, but it's dangerous because I'm not sure I have a good, clear picture. Mm-hmm. You have enough money to not have to work. Not working, not doing anything, or dumbing down your career and calling that satisfying is not going to work for you. Getting out of corporate America, awesome. Teaching part-time and making $15,000 a year and calling that fulfilling is absolute BS. This he's wired with more electricity than that. That's going to get really, really boring. Yeah. He could already be teaching part-time if he really wanted to do that. And
he's going to figure that out, but he's going to learn it the hard way.
Yeah, he really needs to find something to lay his hand to. Mm-hmm. This idea that I'm going to go... I had a friend of mine sold his business for $15 million. He was 31 years old, and he said, I'm going fishing. After 2 years, he was very fat.
It's all that fish.
Fishing. All he did was fish and drink beer, and he hated himself. And he went and opened another business and has had 3 different careers since then. I bet. And made that much more money again. But you can't sit on the boat and fish and drink beer. It doesn't work. This is the Ramsey Show. It's a competitive home buying market, but there's a way you can get an edge. Churchill Mortgage works with you to understand your budget and your goals. And the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge offers you fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus, Churchill has bumped up their seller guarantee to $10,000, giving your offer the best chance of being accepted and helping you win in today's market. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So, as a person of faith, I look at this money thing through the lens of a biblical method of living. Now, you don't have to, and you and I can be friends, but that's what I do. And so I love the quote when it comes to financial independence that Bob Gass said. He's a guy from the Northeast, a preacher, old Pentecostal preacher guy. He said, the definition of prosperity is having the money to do God's will in your life.
Yes.
So if you are living on the mission field in a third world country, it doesn't take a lot of money. Mm-hmm. To pull that off. You don't need $300,000 a year. Mm-hmm. And if you're living on the mission field and if that's God's will for your life, let's assume it is, and you've got the mission work is funded where your family can eat, you have reasonable safety, reasonable shelter while you're doing the mission work, mm-hmm. but you're in a situation where it doesn't require a lot of money to do, in quotes, God's will for your life, then you are prosperous. You are very prosperous, mm-hmm. by definition. if you are called to run some massive thing, it might be millions and millions of dollars to run some. That's God's will. He's asking you to do that. And so one of the things I do around here is I judge the stuff we do at Ramsey. Okay, is this project, this thing we're getting ready to launch, this new brand, this new effort, this new whatever, is that God's will? Is He wanting to do it? And one of the ways we can ascertain that is if we have the money to do it.
That's right.
If we don't have the money to do it, then it must not be.
At least not yet.
Because apparently He owns all the money. And so if He wants that done and wants me to do it, it won't be Bank of America that's funding it.
I sure hope not.
It'll be the money will be here, and it won't show up mysteriously. He'll give us the way to make the profit to do it.
Yeah.
It might show up mysteriously, but that seldom happens.
Very rare.
And that's why they call it miracle, because it's seldom. Yeah, and I haven't really lived my life from miracle to miracle. I've lived my life from production to production, but God gave me 2 hands, a mind, a work ethic, energy, boundless energy to work.
Pray like it all depends on God, work like it all depends on you.
Exactly. And so, when you're talking about financial independence, you need to think about independent from what? Because I believe in becoming wealthy, but I don't know if you ever really become independent. As a matter of fact, you might become more dependent, because I'm convinced the more stuff you own, the more repairmen you have to know. I mean, you're more interdependent the bigger your footprint is.
More money, more problems.
Yeah, it is in that sense, or more responsibility.
Yeah, for sure.
And so more, and you see things you never saw before. You feel a responsibility towards folk that are struggling that you never felt before, because you're able to do something about it. And so, I don't know much about this FIRE movement, but if it has to do with I want to pile up a bunch of money so I don't have to do anything,
yes,
then that's the exact opposite of what we teach.
It's all tied into that minimal Monday, I don't want to work. It's all tied together in that.
If you hate your job,
and that's where
you should change jobs.
That's where the crux is.
You should go to kencoleman.com and get a different job. Get something, do work that has meaning.
Yeah, because if you hate your job, of course you want to get out of it.
I'm going to work 15 years of my life and completely burn the candle at both ends. It's something I hate, with people I hate, in a toxic environment, to pile up enough cash to escape, when I could have just quit.
Yeah. And I mean, these people with the FIRE movement, their sacrifice, I mean, the amount that they're putting into investments, I mean, they're living on a quarter of their income. They're putting much. It's okay, but I'm saying, at 34, you retire? You're
not going to get free.
No.
You don't get free this side of heaven. I mean, you don't get free. All you do is you're going to move from one thing to the next thing is all. And so this idea, I'm going to be independent. Now, you can be independent of having to work for a jerk.
Yes.
But that requires keeping your lifestyle low and your assets up.
And I think really the crux of that is when we talk about this all the time, when you become debt free, it does change the way you work, because you're no longer working simply because you have to pay bills, simply because you have to prop up a lifestyle. You start to decide what you really enjoy doing, what you'd really like to spend your time doing, what matters to you, putting your effort towards. And that is something that I think is very noble, as opposed to just saying, I don't want to work anymore.
Right. Yeah. So I can come alongside sacrificing to win. I can come alongside piling up a big old pile of assets, prospering.
Yep.
I can come alongside becoming successful financially. To the extent you want to do that, you got me on your team. You got the Ramsey folks on your team. But I will tell you, as an old guy, you're not going to become independent. You're going to discover it's quite the opposite, that you're more interdependent than ever before. You cannot escape if you're not the Unabomber, and even he didn't escape, okay? So you really aren't, this mythology, I'm going to pile up a bunch of cash and move to Costa Rica and nobody's ever going to see me again. Yeah, but you have no humans in your life that know you and love you. Where's your family? Where's your friends? Where's your history? You're just going to go live in a foreign country where no one knows who you are, all by your lonesome self. That's called mental illness, okay? I mean, really. Human beings need long, deep, gratifying relationships. And wealth is not to escape from that. It's to embrace that.
That's very good.
And to accentuate that. And so this idea that you're somehow going to be independent, that you're not going to have any problems or any people to deal with, it's quite the opposite. Let me tell you what wealth does. 100% of the time, it magnifies you. It makes you more of what you already are. So if you're kind, you're going to become unbelievably kind. If you're a generous person, you're going to become what we call a philanthropist. If you have a problem with anger, God help the people in your life if you get money. God help them. If you are a crook and you get money, you're going to do crook on steroids, man. You're going to do it. Whatever you do, you get money, you're going to do it big.
You want to know what? But there's part of that, too, with this retirement thing, because if you are that person, if you're a generous person, if you have a servant heart, if you are a person who loves helping up, it's going to be hard for you to not work.
Well, because you're going to want to do more.
You're going to want to do more. Yeah. So,
see, in other words, I get a whole lot more personal, spiritual, emotional, mental health satisfaction out of doing this show, out of meeting someone, two couples who just paid off their house at the break, right? I get more out of that than I do income.
Yeah.
There's no income that offsets that meaning. So if you cannot escape man's need for meaning.
That's right.
Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. I read it 25 years ago, and I just read it again the other day. And it was like it was brand new. It was long enough ago that I read it that I think I forgot the whole thing. But Man's Search for Meaning. But it doesn't come in a pile of assets.
No.
So you're not going to get enough assets to not have a need to produce something for the good of others. That is innate in you. It is part of your DNA. You do not get to escape society because of wealth. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. So don't look for financial independence. Look for some financial security, not pure security. There's no way you get enough to ever be 100% secure. But look for, I'm going to have where I don't have to worry about the money for a bag of Doritos, right? I mean, I don't have to worry about that. One less thing. And, I look for some security. Look for the ability to change your family tree. Look for the ability to be unreasonably generous. Look for the ability for your wealth to create enough income that you don't have to work.
That's right. You want to.
Then work anyway.
Yes.
Doing something. Wow. I hadn't even thought about that stuff in a while.
Yeah.
This is The Ramsey Show. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. If you like this show, you can help us. We would appreciate the help. Subscribe, follow, leave a 5-star review, share the show, click the share button or share the link, or tell someone when and where you're listening or watching, and they can join the way you are or another way. We are on virtually every platform that is imaginable, and we're there for you. So check us out and help us out by spreading the word. Please subscribe and follow. This makes a huge difference in the algorithm and the different services letting other people know that we exist. On the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, John and Alex are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Fantastic.
Hey.
Welcome. Where do y'all live?
Oklahoma City.
Cool. Welcome to Nashville. And how much debt have you two paid off?
We paid off $156,971.
Excellent. How long did this take?
18 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that year and a half?
We started at $107,000 and we ended at $235,000.
Wow.
There's a little jump in 18 months. What in the world? How do you go up $135,000 in income?
both new jobs.
I got a promotion within.
And quite a few side hustles.
Wow, amazing. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a project manager for an electric company there in Oklahoma City.
And I'm an insurance agent.
Ah, very good. Okay. So just hustle and grind, baby.
Yeah.
Get her done.
Bonuses, side hustles, and overtime.
What was the most lucrative side hustle?
I did grocery delivery for Shipped. We both did DoorDash.
I mowed lawns.
Probably the most exciting one was I got to sing for a local ballet company.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. It wasn't too much, but it was still
That's cool.
It's still fun.
Exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. And they paid. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Fun and paid. Paid fun. Good. And what kind of debt was the $157,000?
Everything.
It was car loans, student loans, personal loans, credit cards, medical bills. I mean, all the bad choices.
Wow. How long y'all been married?
Almost 7 years.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And 18 months ago, 2 years ago or so, something happened. What happened?
Well, I was really just like what you were talking about. I just got really comfy in a job that I hated and decided to leave. He told me, he realized how much I hated my job and, gave me the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And that was just like a really eye-opening moment for me. And I got a new job. Our starting income was before I got that new job. And,
So you got a job you liked more that paid more.
Yes.
Of course. That's the way it's supposed to work.
And then what happened was that he was just a little too relaxed about me.
Relieved,
thank you. Relieved about me getting a new job. And I was just like, what's this about? Are we okay? And I was just like, why are you so relieved about getting a couple $100 extra a month? And that's whenever we started talking about...
Oh, he showed you the budget then.
Yeah.
So there was you were already having underlying stress about the money.
Well, budget or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
He told me the other day, every time he watched the Office, that part where he declares bankruptcy, he got so stressed about it.
Bankruptcy. That's not how it works.
He got so stressed about it, and I was just like, and we weren't talking about it at the time, and so.
He was going to man up and carry it.
Yeah.
Wasn't working though.
Yeah, and so we finally. We were just like, well, we're both in debt, like so much money. We might as well do something about it. And then I feel like I finally convinced him that, we can do this. We can pay this off. This is how we do it.
How'd you find us?
I've been an on and off listener up until that point. For the last probably like 10 years.
So we were hovering in the mist.
Yeah, exactly.
So he knew that you guys had a problem and needed to solve it. And you were like, I think I have the solution.
Yes.
Cool. And was that, so it was listening to the show? Did you get plugged into FPU?
I found a certified coach or
Ramsey coach. Yeah.
Thank you.
Shout out to Chance Jackson with Astrolabe Financial.
Yes.
Way to go, Chance.
We had monthly coaching sessions through Zoom. We did them on our lunch break. And he really just showed us that we can do this. And, we told them that this is the goal, the being here and coming to see Uncle Dave.
Hey, I have a question. Of this debt, how much of it was student loans?
Oh,
almost 60.
See, I want anybody listening to hear that because so many people think they can't pay it off.
Yeah.
60,000 of student loans.
And we sold our house and
at the very end.
And we used the equity because we got quite a bit of equity from it, and used it the last, what was it? 46,000 to pay it off. And that was the same day that they said that they kind of declared that no student loan repayment.
Yeah, just kidding.
Forgiveness.
Just kidding on that forgiveness thing.
Psych. Yeah.
Got your vote. Gotcha.
We were already planning on doing that.
But you're
not
like,
the reason
we're
why
taking
we
this in our matters into our own hands, paying off our debt.
We had a plan, actually, because we knew, Congress doesn't bat 1,000, so we knew that it wasn't going to happen. So
Actually,
what we were going to
do, but it's in the wrong way.
Yeah, what we were going to do was I wasn't able to make my last $10,000 because they had forgiven it and it wasn't there, but I couldn't get a paid in full letter. They wouldn't send it.
Oh, wow.
So what we did was we were prepared to put that back. So as soon as the balance was available, it was there already.
Ah, okay. Very good. Perfect timing. Well done. Good job, guys. How's it feel to be free?
Amazing.
Yep.
More than anything else, you feel like you got control now.
Yeah.
We do.
And now you're working together because you weren't before.
Nope.
You get out of bad habits. That's Thomas Sowell said that today's problems are all usually a result of yesterday's solutions. Ooh. So when you come in and say, well, I'll just put that on a credit card, I'll just get a loan, I'll do whatever. No, because now it's today's problem.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
something.
Well done, you two. All right, now that you're experts, you did it. You actually did it. It's not a theory. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Work together. Just talk about it.
Work together, get out of the victim mentality or the victim of situation, like what you talk about in your Baby Steps Millionaire book. That chapter really hit hard with me. I think it's chapter 5.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to talk to your husband, your wife, your spouse, whoever, because they're not going to be as hard on you as you are on yourself about it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fear that they're going to be so disappointed, they're going to be upset. They are, but not any more than you are with yourself.
And also just believe that you can do it. Like just knowing that you can do it and keep your goal in mind. Like my goal was to not have to. I would probably have to work this hard later on in life. But if I didn't do this right now, I'm going to have to work just as hard later on in life.
Or more.
Or more. And I'd be missing out on my kiddos' stuff. All because I'm working.
Yeah. Congratulations, you guys. We're very proud of y'all. Hey, we've got another copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you, another copy of Total Money Makeover for you, Financial Peace University, the Live and Give box, and you can either keep all of it or give it away, whatever you want to do. That's our gift to you for coming over from Oklahoma City to do your debt-free scream. John and Alex, Oklahoma City, $157,000 paid off in 18 months. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt free!
Yeah! There we go. That's how you do it. You gotta love it. Yes! Yeah, and you're watching this or listening to this, and it's my turn to tell you it's your turn. Yeah, you're supposed to be doing this stuff right now. This is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Ephesians 5:15 and 16. So then be careful how you walk, not as unwise people, but as wise, making the most of your time, because the days are evil. Thomas Edison said, having a vision for what you want is not enough. Vision without execution is hallucination.
Facts.
I've never seen that one. That is great. Oh, my goodness. Jim is with us. Jim is in Seattle. Hi, Jim. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Oh, man. Thank you for taking my call. First-time caller. Can't thank you enough. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. How can we help?
Okay. Through quite a list of what I have, one of my main things is funding baby steps. So my nervousness, my scared, my stress level is all high. I'm not through a divorce yet. We sold our house of 17 years last year.
Yikes.
We again, divorce is not final, but we initially each got $50,000 to find new housing. I'm renting right now.
Good.
My question is, I have $40K in the bank. When the divorce is finalized, 40 plus in the bank. Right now, just sitting in my bank. When the divorce is final, I'll have 235-ish, maybe plus. On top of that, it's funding the baby steps versus I feel like I need all of that based on my income to put the max down for my next home, wherever I'm going to live. I said I was renting right now, so I really want another house and be a homeowner. Just not sure which direction.
Okay. And you were married 20 years?
22.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry you're going through this.
It's, I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
3 kids, 20, almost 22, 19, and 15 and a half. And so the 15 and a half-year-old, my daughter, back and forth, week on, week off. We had temporary orders when we were living together, and we're just waiting on mediation and trying to sort it all out. Yeah. I'm hoping soon.
Yeah. Okay. You should buy a home, but not until you've let the cobwebs clear from your mind, because you are grieving a death.
Yep, I understand.
So it's okay for you to rent for a little bit, because if you bought a home in the next 6 or 8, 10 months or whatever, you'll buy a different home a year and a half after that.
So thank you, Dave. I did sign a 2-year lease, so my timing of everything, I'm nervous about that too, where I am relaxing.
You don't need to be nervous.
I'm trying to heal. So I have my lease is September of 24. I feel like I can't make a mistake leading up to when I'm going to be out of my rental that I'm in now.
Well, you've got a year and a half to worry about that, and you got a lot bigger fish to fry during that year and a half.
Yes.
So just chill. As you noticed, there's an apartment on every corner, and you can go get you another 1-year lease somewhere, even if you have to jump. But you give yourself emotional margin to make a wise purchase instead of feeling like I have to rush and go buy a house. There's nothing to be nervous about. There's always going to be houses in Seattle.
And I know, where I live in the area, I'm paying, looking for, it was tough to find a place. I'm by myself, single income now, and trying to even rent a place that wants 3 times the rent. I don't make that much money. It seemed impossible to even find a place, and I became very fortunate to be where I'm at now. But it's just crazy, the prices, which so many people have to deal with, I understand. But I am fortunate to be where I'm at. I'm going to use it to heal. I just want that finalization from the divorce so we can...
Yeah, I agree. You do need to have that, and you don't need to be buying something until that's final, for sure. Right. But even a little while after that, just give yourself a little time to just cry and a little time to just heal, and then you'll make a wise purchase at that point. You'll have $200,000 to put down, plus or minus being debt-free, plus or minus having your 3 to 6 month emergency fund in place.
That's right. Yeah, that's sad. That's tough. 22 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And I love that advice to just slow down, and because what you said is true. What you do in those first few months is radically different than what you would do 2 years from now, a year from now.
Yeah. It's just, the same is true if you lose a spouse.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a different scenario, but and a different kind of pain, but it's still making big personal financial decisions while in pain is not recommended. You know what I mean?
You're not thinking straight.
And none of us would be. I told Sharon if she leaves, I'm going with her.
Well, I also think in those divorce situations, of divorce, when there's kids involved, there's this rush to get a sense of home quickly.
Yeah.
To kind of like, okay, like, let me make sure I get a place where everybody feels like they can come. I have them, on every other weekend. I want to make sure they feel at home. And, I get that, but taking that time is important.
Yep. Michael's in Cincinnati. Michael, what's up?
How are you doing today, Dave?
Great, man. How can we help?
So me and my wife, we are 22 years old. We just got married last year. She just graduated college in December. So now we're having $25,000 of student loans. We are in the process of saving up for a vehicle with the intentions of paying cash next year and starting a family. Do I work to pay those student loans off now instead of saving for the vehicle, or do I pay the payment, which we're not doing until October, but obviously we are starting now to get them paid off sooner, and keep saving for the vehicle, or what do you suggest?
I'd take it one thing at a time, and I would start with the debt. I'm assuming you both have vehicles now, right? The other vehicle would just be an upgrade?
Yes, ma'am, to a family vehicle, yes.
Yeah, I would focus on paying off this debt. How much do you guys earn?
I did $62,000 last year gross. We'll do about $130,000 this year combined.
Okay, so you can pay this off in a year.
That's gross.
Less.
That's gross, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have our 3-month emergency fund. We have about $12,000 in emergency fund, and I mean, we both have retirements going out of a Roth IRA and whatnot that I invest in. So
if you really wanted to clear this quickly, you would walk through the steps, and you'd take that $12,000 down to $1,000, throw that at the student loans, and then cash flow the rest. You can pay this off in a couple of months.
And you would stop adding to your retirement temporarily.
Yeah, that's right.
Temporarily.
It's only going to be a couple of months, but you're going to get that. What percentage are you investing?
Yeah, he's
gone.
Doesn't matter.
That's all right. Whatever your 5%, 7%, all that's going back into your cash flow. So that's more money that you're throwing at this debt. You guys are going to be done with this in a couple of months.
Yeah, if you focus on it. If you don't, you're going to keep it around like a pet.
Right.
And that's the problem with student loans. People think they're harmless, but they grow up and take over the house.
There are people, Dave, that with $25,000 of student loan debt that are waiting 20 years to have it paid off by the government.
And they're going to be so disappointed.
They're going to be so disappointed.
Yeah, because they
keeping it around as a pet when they could have it done in 6 months, 7 months, 9 months. The people who just did their debt-free screen paid off, what was it, $80,000 in 18 months.
Yeah. Having the government run your financial plan is like going to the DMV for efficiency. I mean, this is the wrong place to place your hope.
It's the wrong place.
On inept, incompetent, and crooked people. Oh, my gosh. People that will say anything to get your vote and had no intention of doing it at all.
No.
They
don't want you to pay anything off. They just want your
Michael,
payment.
the fastest way for you guys to get financial stability and start hitting your goals and build wealth is to get out of debt and stay out of debt. That's why we're telling you that. So we would tell you to knock out the debt, and we just did, as fast as you possibly can, and then build your emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and then save up and pay cash for your upgrade car. And you got plenty of time to do all of that.
That's right.
That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
What's up, guys? It's Jade. Look, if you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.